I'm looking for a place for dinner. I've always wanted to go to Sardi's. Wouldn't you know it, closed Monday. I'll have to come back another day. And there's the MetLife building, formerly the Pan Am building. Pretty recognizable building in Manhattan. You've probably seen it in a lot of old movies and TV shows. We're heading right in that direction. So here we're heading to Grand Central. Pretty busy place, especially at 5 in the afternoon. So if you ever hear the figure of speech where people say that something that's busy is like Grand Central Station, now you know why. But there's more here than just trains. When you get to stations like this, they're a lot like malls. You're going to find restaurants and shops and all sorts of things. Like any place in New York, walking and vlogging is not an easy task because there's people everywhere. Once again, if you need a restroom while you're in Manhattan, train stations are a good place to stop. Take it out and look at some of the trains. I'm going back upstairs. I'm getting out of here. Just too busy. And I'll tell you, it was hot down there by the trains. So there's the Chrysler building on East 42nd Street. Very close to Grand Central Station. So when I'm down this way, I thought I'd take a little detour and see if we can get a look at the United Nations building. Major League Security. Now I'm not sure exactly why there's no flags up today. You know, I said the sound you can't get away from in New York, that perpetual sound of sirens. The other one is honking horns and cab drivers and bus drivers yelling and screaming and swearing at one another. The problem with going to Sardi's now is it's coming on 6 o'clock and it'll probably be busy because we'll hit the pre-show crowd. But I'm going to give it a try. Maybe waiting until around 8 o'clock would be easier to get in. But I'm hungry now. Look, a psychic. I bet I know what they tell me. I'm gullible and easily part with my money. Now things are probably starting to look familiar to you. Boy, if I started doing more of this, I'd probably be in shape. And there's Schubert Alley. We're looking at that when it was nearly empty the other day. And now people are lining up for Hello Dolly. That would be a great ticket. That would be a wonderful show to see. Bette Midler just got done playing the role of Dolly, and now Bernadette Peters. Let's see if we can get into Sardi's. So here we are in Sardi's. I've heard about this place ever since I was a little kid. The caricatures of all the famous stars, the Broadway people. And I'm here about to have dinner.
See if we can recognize any of these. That's absolutely Michael Douglas. Is that John Goodman? Danny Thomas. So there's my dinner. I got scallops. It looks absolutely delicious. Being here at Sardi's is the treat. Being able to have food is just icing on the cake. The good news is, it's not only a fun place to visit, but the food is delicious. So good. You can see it tends to be a formal place, white linen napkins, tablecloths, but it's not terribly expensive. The funny thing is, it's really hard to make out some of these celebrities, but I see one across the room that I absolutely recognize, and those are the mayors. There's Ed Koch, and I think on the other side is David Dinkins. There are show posters throughout Sardi's. And now we'll head upstairs. And even the restrooms are Broadway. We have Guys and Dolls. And there is none other than Bob Hope. Not quite as busy up here in the upstairs level of Sardi's. So we're going to look around at some of the pictures. And there is Judd Hirsch, Billy Crystal, Barry Manilow, Robert Klein. I think the far more recognizable and identifiable stars and caricatures are up here on the upstairs level. I'm so glad I came up here. So I guess you can freeze the video and take a look at some of these. I'll key in on some of those that I think are more recognizable. Some of these are really golden oldies. Marge and Gower Champion. And above them is Jane Meadows. And I'm quite certain that is Lauren Bacall. And it looks like this bar is closed off, possibly for a special event. All I know is I can't get over there. Velvet Rope. And outside, people are lining up to get into Anastasia. And right across the street, hello, Dolly. And there is Billy Joel, one of my favorites. I can't begin to tell you how much fun this is. I've been hearing about Sardi's for my entire life, and finally I got to not only eat here, but wander around pretty freely and look at some of the caricatures, especially on the second level. If you ever get a chance to stop in, if you're in New York City, I would highly recommend it. And there's Tim Curry. And even the partitions between the rooms are Broadway show posters. There's Ray Walston, my favorite Martian. Lena Horne. Leslie Uggams. And here's a good one. Paul Winchell. Many of you may know him as a ventriloquist, but far more may know him as the voice of Tigger. And there's Carl Reiner, famous comedian and creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And there's Sammy Davis Jr. next to Tony Danza. So many famous caricatures. Every star that has their picture here met two criteria. Number one, they had to personally autograph the picture. So every picture you see here is also a personal autograph. The second thing, they had to have dined here at Sardi's. So that's pretty special. Now when you come here to eat, you are eating among all of these stars. Not only their pictures, but they actually sat at some of the same chairs and tables that you would be sitting at. The original owner, Vincent Sardi Sr., could not afford to pay the caricature artist to do all this work, so he paid him in meals. Alex Gard was the first caricature artist, and he got paid with 2 meals a day. And even after Sardi started making enough money and becoming successful enough that he could pay him, Gard often took the meals instead. A lot of stars don't like their pictures. When that happens, Sardi's will redraw them upon request.
Bette Midler, for example, hated her picture, so they had it redone. These pictures are not permanently attached to the wall, so when there's a popular star or a popular act, like Hello Dolly across the street, they will move their portraits to the front of the house. So right now, Bette Midler, Bernadette Peters, and of course Hamilton, all very popular shows. So they're right up front. As I leave Sardi's, there are some of New York's finest. That was so much fun. That was so exciting for me to finally eat at Sardi's after all these years. I'm really glad that you were able to come along and join me. They have what they call the little bar just as you enter Sardi's restaurant, and then there's a bigger bar up top. And there was a bartender cleaning up, the little bar was closed, and I said to him, could I just step inside in order to take some pictures? And he looked at me and said, no. So I couldn't step inside. What are all these people waiting to see? The Phantom of the Opera. And playing at the Al Hirschfeld Theater is Kinky Boots. I saw this show last year, really an excellent show. I'd recommend it. Well, I get my picture taken, but nobody's here to do it. And there's the creators. The show has music by Cyndi Lauper. How can you go wrong? Harvey Fierstein, by the way, you might not be used to seeing him without his beard. And here's one last view of the Empire State Building lit up at night. What a great week. I got to go to the top of the Empire State Building. I got to see Chicago. And I visited some of my old haunts, my favorite places in New York City. I hope you enjoyed it as well. From New York City, I'm Mark with the Avid Bee Channel.